The voice of the I Am is the mouthpiece through which the Ascended Master's instruction can reach the students quickly. That the most powerful work possible for America and the world may be done by the students to release the greatest light in the shortest time. It will also contain information as to where the accredited messengers, Mr. and Mrs. G. W. Ballard and son, Donald, are teaching the Ascended Master's instruction on the I Am. Information. The information given under the heading of Young America will be the Ascended Master's help to the young people for their protection and illumination. As they are the builders of the new civilization and are the channels through which the Ascended Masters will give their light for the use of the outer world in the golden I Am age. This magazine is not an outlet for articles from the students, but is the outpouring of the help from the Ascended Masters and has no human concepts in it. The Sindelar Studios, 2600 South Hoover Street, Los Angeles, California. A Gangamane's Invocation. Thou mighty, majestic I Am Presence, God.
Saint Germain Invocation.
Thou mighty, majestic I Am Presence, God, in action, we give praise and thanks for the fullness of thy perfection made manifest everywhere. Out of the fullness of thy life is the river of peace ever flowing to enfold mankind. Make these thy children ever abundantly receptive to thy presence. Hold their attention fixed upon thee, for thou art the only eternal happiness. Let thy wisdom ever fill their minds, directing them in the perfect way thou dost wish them to go. Let them feel thy majesty in their consciousness. Let them be conscious that thou art holding them within thy magic circle, centered within thy heart, that thy perfect stream of life flows through the minds and bodies of these thy children, and hold their attention ever fixed on thee. Greetings from the great host, the cherubim and Deva. The Discourse. Happiness is the great boon every individual is seeking. We find some Orientalists saying that bliss is the ultimate state. It is only another expression for happiness, but is not nearly so potent to the Western mind. To the Western mind, happiness is God in action. To be conscious of seeking happiness is to be conscious of seeking God. No permanent happiness is ever attained except through the adoration of God, the mighty I Am Presence, which is within, above, and around the individual. Happiness is a powerful alchemy. It is one of the most powerful purifiers of the human thought, feeling, mind, body, aura, and world of the individual. If the student but believed and would experiment with himself or herself, he would find that he can generate happiness at will. For instance, suppose that an outer thing draws the attention and causes some phase of unhappiness. Knowing that God, the mighty I Am Presence, is the only source of happiness, then the student's first move would be to turn the attention to that giver of all happiness, and thereby he would tune in to the one source from which he is certain to receive. The idea for the individual to follow is that when he feels some kind of disturbance and wants to turn to God, he may do the following and get great help from it. Get up and go through the motions of taking off a garment that one does not want, and, as he would hold the discarded garment in his hands, drop it into the consuming flame and know that the disturbing element is consumed. Then fix the attention on God, the mighty I Am Presence, with the joyous consciousness of feeling and receiving the current of happiness and peace filling his mind and body. With a little practice in this manner, the student will soon be able to come to the point where he can draw this great happiness consciously and at will. Every time he does this consciously, he will find that he is gaining strength in the accomplishment and will realize truly that he has the ability to reach into the heart of happiness and there absorb its fullness. This practice is always followed by an expansion of consciousness, which is its natural result. The student or individual who is inclined to allow personalities or conditions that seem unusually close to them to disturb them should watch himself closely and instantly, when he finds the attention is being fixed on the outer consciousness, withdraw it and fill the person, place, or condition with God, the mighty I Am presence, and declare to himself, I, through my I Am presence, consciously fill this person, place, or condition with God. Therefore, in my outer consciousness, I positively know that only the right and perfect action is taking place there, toward me, and for their success and happiness. With many individuals, the love of family holds their attention entirely too much upon the outer appearances, and when they allow this to be done, they but intensify the thing that they do not want. If parents will take this attitude toward their children, there is no personality acting in that one, there is only God in action. Then they are doing the greatest thing in their power to help their children. At first, it may require considerable determination on their part to switch the current, but it is really no more difficult than turning the switch of the electric light in your room or pressing the button. The reason individuals find it difficult to do this is because they do not nip disturbing conditions in the bud. They allow a fierce momentum to get going, and then suddenly become aware they are in distress, never stopping to consider that they have allowed this thing to build, when, by standing guard at the door of conscious creative thought and feeling, they can check it and stop its action in the beginning with little effort. Again, let me refer to the power of free will and choice. The individual alone is the governor and chooser of that which he will entertain, and he or she is at all times and forever master of this condition now. Because this particular activity requires no special state of growth but can be done successfully by anyone who will sincerely try. Almost always, the admonition to the child starting to school is that if at first you don't succeed, try again. In looking to the light, or toward God, the mighty I Am presence, with sincerity, we cannot fail, because we not only have our own God power surging forth to our assistance, but there are other mighty powers watching all opportunity to help, and from whom we do receive unbelievable assistance. Octaves of thought. I think it well to again refer to the octaves of thought, for these exist within the atmosphere the same as the strata exist within the earth. I think it may be wise to define, to some degree, these octaves. The first we shall mention is the octave of crime, which is the thinnest in spite of all appearances at this time. The second is the octave of hate, considerably thicker. The third is the octave of anger, much thicker. The fourth is the octave of criticism and condemnation, still much thicker, and is the prevalent octave in which a great number of humanity move unknowingly. From this on up, we begin to enter the light, and we find the octave of toleration, which is the will to give everyone freedom in thought and speech. Then we enter the octave of joy, where we find ourselves rejoicing exceedingly in the recognition of the God power in us. The next is the octave of pure love, from which we feel unmistakably the presence of God, the mighty I Am presence, acting. From this we come into the octave of perfect happiness. Whenever we allow our consciousness, which means our thought, feeling, and spoken word, to dwell in the quality of any one of these octaves, we not only have of that quality whatever we have generated, but we open ourselves to the entire outpouring from that octave upon which we dwell. This means the full accumulation of that quality generated by the mass of mankind, past and present. This exists within the atmosphere above the surface of the Earth in which all individuals live and move. This simple illustration will show how necessary it is to govern the thought, feeling, and spoken word and make determined effort to enter into the higher octaves of consciousness. When we do so, we find that through these octaves, from tolerance on up, there is a condition just like a funnel with the small point down, direct from the Godhead, which is constantly pouring its presence, energy and substance into these octaves. All octaves below that of love are the creations of mankind, not God, the mighty I Am presence. Mankind is the only one who attempts to divide God. God, the mighty I Am presence, never attempts to divide itself. God is all, everywhere present, to everyone who will accept this fullness of the mighty I Am presence. There is no use of students or individuals feeling that they cannot govern the outer form or the periphery of their thought. Feeling and action, which the body is, for I know positively that they can and must do it, and the sooner they take the reins, accept their God-given dominion and use it, the quicker they will find true happiness. Already, the human, or outer self, has too long been the usurper of God's power, feeding the individual on husks and weeds, when it might hold the attention fixed on God, the mighty I Am presence, and receive the nectar of eternal youth and life, and move in that octave of perfect happiness, God's perfection, the garden of paradise. Regarding children. When children of parents have reached the years of maturity, the greatest thing the parents can do is to consciously place these children in God's hands, which means to release them completely into the protection and care of each child's own mighty I Am presence, and enfold them in the rays of light and love from the heart of the electronic body above the child. Every time the presence or thought of the child is in evidence, rejoice that God's full and perfect intelligence is acting in his thought and feeling, governing perfectly all outer action. This will release the child into the presence and power of divine action in a marvelous manner. The anxiety of the parent to the child is in 90% of the cases the cause of a wrong action, and especially so from the mother. This is a tremendous truth that is little understood. The mother, having been the builder of the body of the child, by this I mean furnishing the substance by which the form was built, has made a personal line of contact with the child for that embodiment, and if the mother but knew it, from the enlightened standpoint, she has the power to mold the child into the most wonderful perfect being, or, shall I say, hold the focus by which the child is molded into the perfect being. On the other hand, if the mother allows anxiety, which is a subtle form of fear, to constantly govern her, her thought cannot help but go out to the child and may disturb it to the extent that it would cause the child to be a complete failure. The above is an extreme instance when the mother has entirely an ungoverned thought. This illustrates the great importance of parents knowing and feeling that the child or children whom they love are at all times governed by the perfect intelligence of God.
The mighty I Am presence, and the moment that anxiety or fear attempts to intrude, consume it and replace it with the above firm consciousness that there is only God's perfect intelligence acting in and about the child.
If all the mothers of America could understand this wonderful truth and live it, a majestic race would be born from that time on. This is a great natural law that has not been understood even among students to but a small degree. I have known many instances where the intense fear in the parent for the child drew the child into the very thing they feared, and it is one of the things that has delayed humanity's progress much. Sometimes the child is sufficiently advanced that unknowingly to the outer, it wards off to a large degree the fear and anxiety of the parents. This is fortunate indeed. Let it be thoroughly understood that I am in no wise criticizing or condemning the mothers, but I do intensely deplore the lack of understanding of this wonderful and vital point. I presume that Emily Cady understood this point clearer than any other teacher of the outer world today, and she made a powerful, sincere effort to convey this to her readers. Prophecies. There are certain war conditions threatening. Through the red activity, war would spread all over the world, and our desire is to avoid the outburst of it before a certain condition can occur. If this can be done, it will do tremendous things to hasten the progress of humanity. Prophecies for centuries have held forth the idea, and it has become racial in the mind of humanity, that the greatest of all wars, called the Armageddon, would take place. This, we think, from the higher standpoint, was a great mistake. Humanity has been accepting, expecting, and are determined to have it. In the first prophecy of this, it was to convey the thought that it would take place on the invisible plane without coming into physical action. We hope yet this may be done. My personal opinion is that a cataclysm, which is inevitable, is preferable to the coming forth into physical action of the so-called Armageddon, for a cataclysm does not release hate, and, because of this, it would be much better for humanity. A certain amount of cataclysmic action is inevitable, and it is not desirable that it should be avoided, for it releases certain things and seals certain things, greatly to the benefit and progress of humanity. It is possible under secure dispensations for the channel of the cataclysm to be changed or governed. If mankind could understand that God forever and forever acts through his messengers, who are attuned to step down his mighty current of force and activity, then they would know that all cataclysmic or cosmic conditions may be, to some more or less degree, regulated and directed. Warning. Here again, let me express a very sincere warning to the student. Even knowing the inevitable, he should in no wise dwell upon it, but should, every time the thought of such an occurrence comes to the mind, declare, "There is only God, the mighty I Am Presence, in action everywhere present." This becomes his own armor of protection. If certain conditions can be consumed in Chicago in time, much of the progress here may be sustained and preserved. In calling forth the mighty I Am Presence to consume these wrong conditions, know that you are In calling forth the mighty I Am Presence to consume these wrong conditions, know that you are using the majestic forces of the cherubim and Deva, which are anchored over Chicago, to give protection. This enables the force to pour whenever the thought reoccurs. Notes. The principal thing in financial demonstration is to be determined in refusing to accept the idea that money or help is not present. Do not let yourself accept that the thing which you wish to use is absent. It only has an appearance of absence. You can just as easily find $10,000 in your pocket as 10 cents. Sending and receiving thought, etc. In the case of two individuals becoming attuned, in reality, they simply both tune in to a cosmic force and it acts. There will come a time when a manifestation of the ascended masters will be appreciated and great benefit derived from it. It can then be used with splendid effect, and in that case would be justifiable. The intense element of smoking is what we would shun the most, for it opens the door to things we do not even wish to discuss. Benediction. Mighty I Am Presence, mighty cherubim. Gracious Deva, we give praise and thanks to thee and the almighty ascended host for thy radiation, thy love, thy patience to bring forth the great inner light of these loved ones to serve with thee. And let all who come under this instruction receive thy great inner illumination. 10. The Great Divine Director's Discourse. Beloved children of the light. When I say light, it is the light of God which beats your hearts and never fails. Its glory expanding within you is not only the solvent of all your problems, but is the open doorway to your ascension and freedom from all problems. It is within your ability to decree and make your ascension, and if not finished in this embodiment, then to establish that condition which does finish it in the next. Mankind, after having gone through human turmoil and experiences in hundreds and perhaps thousands of embodiments, should be encouraged when we say to them that we know the law unquestionably and urge you to use that law, which we know to be your freedom and ascension, to feel an eternal and everlasting encouragement. Encouragement to at least make an earnest effort for that activity. I tell you, dear hearts, that your limitations and the limitations which every I Am student has drawn about him shall disappear and be erased. Cooperate with that idea because your call is required, is imperative for your freedom. You are the creator of all that is about you and whatever limiting appearance is there. Therefore, you must realize and remember eternally your imperative need, and I shall endeavor to imprint this on your consciousness in letters of light, to call to your presence and refuse acceptance to human limitations. If you will do this, great assistance will be given you to hasten that freedom, either by setting aside all time and space, or by giving you a greater and greater consciousness of the activity of your own mighty I Am presence, which you require to hasten that freedom. I wish you to feel that this, which the messengers have been bringing forth to you, must come into its climax, its dynamic anchorage in your consciousness. The instruction in these words of the Ascended Masters is the law by which they attained their freedom and ascension. The things described are not idle human experiences, but are the activity of a great and mighty law, which is here for your use. But if you do not feel its reality, how can you have your freedom? Stand as if there were nothing else in the world and universe but the I Am presence. Call it into action, knowing the I Am presence rushes to your assistance at this call. Know that no human creation can remain longer before that mighty presence to retard or interfere with its current of energy, so long as you control your feelings harmoniously. Do not yield yourselves longer to these limitations when you have this mighty knowledge, this assistance, this light before you, by which you can free yourselves. I plead with you, O beloved ones, whom we love so greatly, and in whom we see the earnest desire for freedom, you who have rendered such faithful service for America, as well as for individuals, stand alone with your mighty I Am presence. So shall you have your reward, although I see no heart which is looking for its reward, yet shall that reward come. The great cosmic light is descending into the earth with greater and greater power and with greater and greater illumination. O beloved ones, I urge you to take advantage of that great light, although you have only our word for it and that of the messengers. Believe that it is true. And as you know that, take advantage of this great assistance unknown in the history of the earth before. Stand glorified in its radiance and freedom. Out of the fullness of that light is all that is required for your freedom. That light is self-luminous, intelligent substance. That love, divine love, which you call forth from your presence, is self-luminous, intelligent substance. Then, when you call to your presence to perform a service, you not only call the presence into action, but the light flows forth to fulfill that which you decree into form, and it cannot fail. the glory of that light, the great cosmic light, as well as the great light from mighty Cyclopeia and the Silent Watcher, think of it for a moment, is the glory of the great host of ascended masters who have gone the way before you. They are the fulfillment of the law, which is within the covers of the I Am discourses, and by which they obtained their freedom and ascension. I am taking advantage of this opportunity tonight to try and engrave in blazing letters of light this mighty truth, and to bring strength and encouragement into your minds, that you may no longer question, but call that presence into action with the full power which it is, and allow it to do its mighty and perfect service in, for, and through you. Not only blessing yourselves and perfecting you, but pouring that mighty radiance out in every direction, everywhere you move, to fill the earth with its glory, its power, and its perfection. Do not be dismayed by the human appearance of politics or other things. The light of God is flooding this earth, and definite changes shall come everywhere. Do not let doubt and questioning enter your minds, but receive the full power of this light. Make your call, which will be amplified by the great host of ascended masters, the legion of light, and even the angelic host, for they have drawn close to the earth by the power of the ascended masters and are giving infinite assistance. Beloved ones of Los Angeles, stand together as one solid wall of light in your city and bring perfection, not only to yourselves, but to your city, to America, and the earth. With thousands of the I Am students in Los Angeles, anything in the world can be done. Do you know how great the power of divine love is? How every law in the universe responds and obeys that power and decree of divine love. Shall I let you into a secret? Many parts of America have called for the messengers and sort of feel that Los Angeles is being a little oversupplied with them. Why? Because that volume of sincere love sent up here is greater than anywhere else in America. In New York, in Philadelphia, in Washington, in Boston, in the cities of the earth, if such volume of love had been poured forth, so could they have had the same things. I try to show you the activity and power of the flame of divine love and gratitude sent up, how it becomes a mighty magnet in which the mighty divine law answers and always responds. Let me say to you in closing with these few words. As one, knowing the great law, for the first time in thousands of years have I sent forth a great message of this kind. I want you to feel this great help now. I ask you, if you love your presence and us, who are endeavoring to give every assistance for your freedom, will you refuse in the future to listen, every one of you, to any silly human gossip, criticism, condemnation, and judgment of anything or about anybody? Instead, call your mighty I Am presence into action to produce perfection everywhere you move and in everything you do, so that great marvels and mighty miracles will take place in your city. 15. Remember, that which that messengers have said to you shall be fulfilled. The ascended host will walk and talk with you, as you do with each other, the time depending upon the sufficient harmony to be established among the students of America to whom they come. This is why the messengers have urged harmony in your feelings and the refusal of condemnation, criticism, judgment, anger, and hatred. O students, understand, beloved ones. The ascended host dare not come into your midst with their great volume of energy to let it be qualified by your anger, hatred, and discord. Their wisdom is too great, for they would not subject you nor the environment to a condition of this kind. I tell you again, beloved ones of Los Angeles, you have a power in the intensity of your group activities to accomplish anything that your earnest, honest, sincere attention is focused upon. You have learned the law, that the presence will not act through discordant activity, but remember. Beloved ones, The higher mental body of each one of you, which is your discriminating selective intelligence, knows what your individual thoughts and feelings are, what degree of discordant quality you have drawn about you or still hold about you. Remember this, that when you call forth the power of the presence, and then something discordant happens to you, it is because you have not used the violet consuming flame to consume the discord of which you know nothing, it having been drawn about you in a previous embodiment or experience. Then, when your attention brings it forth, it will act destructively if you do not. Use the violet consuming flame to keep any discordant activity you have drawn about you in the past from coming forth in this embodiment.
If you will believe this which I have said to you, and will with determination follow it, your freedom will come quickly, every one of you.
Do not ever be dismayed. If in your coming into the knowledge of the presence, things of a discordant nature come forth and act in your present experience, for it is only because the violet consuming flame has not been used with sufficient intensity in this embodiment. Your mighty I Am presence never, never fails to respond and answer your call, and it only seems not to do so because discord has entered into your thought and feeling. It is only your call to the presence that annuls the discordant activity of the energy and requalifies it as it flows forth to fulfill your requirement. O beloved ones, try earnestly to understand the simple means of this activity of your being, which you are making every waking moment. These explanations and activities are powerful, they are vital. I voice to you the love and blessings of the ascended host, the Legion of Light and the angelic host, as well as myself to guide you, that you may have the strength and encouragement henceforth to stand your ground and with a sincere smiling face turn to your presence, acknowledge, accept, and feel that there are no longer two, but just the mighty I Am presence acting in and controlling your human form. Beloved ones, convey everywhere you go, where you can have harmonious ears, that there is no death. Never did such a thing exist in the history of the world, for only the distortion of mankind's ideas have clouded the intellect, until human beings have imagined all kinds of things. Time after time, the great light is revealing to mankind that there is no death. The individual who has passed on has but changed garments, as you do in the winter and summer, changed garments which gives them greater freedom. What a beautiful thing, dear hearts! Yet the tragedy and sorrow in the misunderstanding of this mighty truth is appalling. The most beautiful thing on the face of the earth is the release of mankind into those other garments of a finer quality, that the individual might raise and be free from discord for a while. Oh, do not ever again let the thought of death discourage you, or the passing of someone. In that change of garments, think of it as a change into the higher garments of light, which should be the greatest joy to every human being in the world. The blessings and light, the courage and strength of the great host of ascended masters, the Legion of Light and the great white brotherhood throughout the earth call you into the perfection of your mighty I Am presence. And as the light of your being, or the expansion of the light within your hearts permits, do they give every assistance that is possible to quicken that light and hasten your freedom from the earth. Our love enfolds you always until the fullness of your ascension. The Great Divine Director. SAINGE. Oft, as the fragrance of the rarest flower, your mighty
Saint Germain's blessing, given Sunday evening, June 7th, 1936, in Seattle, Washington.
Oft, as the fragrance of the rarest flower, your mighty I Am presence enfolds you in its wondrous radiance, clothing you in the invincible protection.
Soft as the fragrance of the rarest flower, your mighty I Am presence enfolds you in its wondrous radiance, clothing you in the invisible protection, which enables you to hold your attention upon the source of your being, your mighty I Am presence, that it may flood your world with its happiness, with its harmony, and its mighty perfection, as your attention is held upon it.
Great is the gift that has come to you in the knowledge of this mighty presence, your individual presence of God which beats your heart, and is the source, the release, the freedom for all of mankind who will turn their attention to that mighty presence and hold harmony within their feelings. The effort so simple, so majestic in its action, only requiring your earnest, determined call to release such a mighty volume of that mighty energy into expression in your world, that all problems of discord vanish as mist before the morning sun, and the happiness, the harmony you have craved throughout your life may now be obtained, may now be sustained, and forever active in your lives, homes, and worlds. I call your attention tonight to the transcendent service which the great divine director has called into action for those blessed boys who changed their garments in the strife overseas. They are now to be called into the octave of the ascended masters to receive the knowledge of the I Am, the mighty I Am presence, and then, when they return to earth again, to bring with them the full conscious knowledge that sets them free and enables them to make their ascension in the next embodiment. This can be done for the first time in the history of the earth, owing to the great cosmic law that is flooding the earth with its light and increasing daily. He also wishes to say to all of mankind who touch this work that every love gift which is given from the heart to sustain this activity of the I Am is amplified many times to the giver, and it shall continue throughout the entire work. May you know, O beloved students, the privilege that is yours in the service that you can render to yourself, your friends, your country, in calling your mighty I Am presence into action, to dissolve and consume in the mental and feeling world of mankind every disintegrating, discordant, destructive thought and feeling from the face of the earth. When you call your mighty I Am presence into action to perform this service, the power of the universe rushes into action until it is accomplished. Remember the transcendent privilege that is yours if you will but do this. Freedom of every description is at hand for you. The door stands wide open to those who will harmonize their feelings, call their mighty I Am presence into action, and stand forever glorified in its presence. I extend to you and enfold you in the love of the great host of ascended masters and the Legion of Light with all the love that I can command to produce perfection for you, to fill your worlds and homes with love, kindness, and happiness, to give you the ascended masters' strength and courage, to help you call your mighty presence into action, to release its powers, and to dissolve forever all doubts and fears within your feeling and thought, that you may go forth a free being, untouched by the human thoughts and feelings about you. I clothe you in this transcendent tube of light, invincible in its protection about you, that henceforth you may move in the world untouched by its discord. Will you accept that gift of my love and feel it forever sustained for your blessing? Feel free to call upon your mighty I Am presence first, then to the great host of ascended masters and the Legion of Light for assistance, as the law of your being permits, to sustain you until you have gained your full victory and dominion, free from human limitations and creations. My love enfolds you forever, O beloved students of Seattle, and I thank you for your love, harmony, and radiance which has poured forth during these 10 days. We amplify that and return it to you 1,000-fold to harmonize, beautify, perfect, and supply your world with every good thing. May the feeling of divine love that goes forth from my heart to you now Be an ever-sustaining presence and activity in moments when you feel hard-pressed, commanding all discord to quickly vanish from your world and lift you, glorious and radiant in the knowledge of your presence, and make you master of your world. Protect our Constitution of the United States. Blessed people of America! The Constitution of these United States is the instrument in the outer world by which the mighty I Am Presence guards you, your families, your homes, and your liberty. It is the guardian presence for our beloved United States, and that is the same to you as the house in which you live. I plead with you to use everything in your life and your world to defend the Constitution of the United States to the utmost against all attacks and changes, for as surely as you live, there would be no peace, protection, supply, or happiness for you and yours, unless that Constitution remains as the plan and power for governing those who live within the borders of the United States. Our Constitution is perfect enough and powerful enough to govern the people of the United States and the whole earth forever, if government officials and the people themselves will obey the principles contained within it. The finest array of principles in the universe compiled into any document will not produce perfection if no one obeys them. The trouble is not with the principles nor the document, but with the intent in the hearts of individuals to give obedience to them, and thus be blessed by them. Where there is the will to obey the constructive law of life, perfection is always experienced, and the desire to obey the Constitution must be generated and aroused within the hearts of the people themselves. Remember, the operating of a government is but the reflection of men's minds, and the obedience or disobedience to law is the reflection of men's feelings. When the people themselves demand that government officials obey the principles in the Constitution, only those who will obey will be placed in positions of authority to run the machinery of the government. Viciousness, selfishness, dishonesty, and violence will destroy themselves if the people will insist on obedience to the principles in the Constitution and give that obedience also in their own individual activities. Our Constitution was designed to cover all possible changes in the advance of civilization and will never be out of date. Its principles are eternal, enough to govern all mankind forever if individuals and government officials will give obedience to those principles. There is nothing wrong with the Constitution. The trouble lies in the feelings and the lack of willingness in the individuals themselves to abide by the principles, which are recorded within the Constitution, that order may be maintained in all outer activities. It is a divine instrument and a marvel of wisdom, great enough to fulfill the needs of our people up to this time, and the means by which we have attained our present successful achievement. For national distress has only come in our country when those principles in the Constitution have been disregarded. Distress will remain until they are obeyed by both government officials and every individual in his own private as well as public activities. The Constitution will take us on forever, no matter how great our activities become, if the people will accept it and see that its mandates are fulfilled. As surely as you breathe, life for human beings born in the United States will contain no happiness if they are compelled to live under a dictatorship or autocracy, no matter whether that arrangement be openly acknowledged or subtly disguised. The Constitution of the United States is a sun of light and freedom to all mankind, and was established through terrific struggle, suffering, and sacrifice, that we of today might enjoy the blessings of this country in peace. The people of the whole world who really want the constructive way of life love and admire the constructive way of life. Constitution of the United States, and we, who are the beneficiaries of its light and protection, should surely value it most. Therefore, it becomes the sacred obligation of every individual who wants security, peace, and the blessings of life to defend it with all he is and has, even with his life, if need be, for existence without it would be worse than death, under the regime of anything else but that Constitution. It is the wonder and admiration of the whole earth, and the people of the United States, from the cradle up, should be taught to appreciate and value the blessings which it secures to individuals privileged to live in this glorious country of God. The hour is at hand when those who want the constructive way of life must stand together as a solid wall of light to defend our Constitution of the United States with all we have. We, who live in America, are today the beneficiaries of that which the early patriots and pioneers gave their lives to preserve for us. It is now our duty to preserve for our children the priceless gifts of freedom and happiness which others won for us. There are plenty of people in America who know this, as we do, and who see clearly enough to know that we must not give our all to protect America for posterity. Therefore, let everyone feel the necessity to guard our Constitution and have the same loyalty for America as he does for his own home and body. We ask everyone in America to arouse the people's attention to the need of standing for our Constitution with determination to protect it at all costs, and the mighty I Am presence and great host of ascended masters will give help without limit and release the invincible power of the legions of light to give us the protection required. Everything good mankind experiences in physical life comes from and depends upon the great light of the universe. Out of that light comes all that is good. Out of that light came the Constitution of the United States. If the people will look to the light, call to the light, love the light, demand the light, serve the light, and bless the light, miracles unbelievable will be the experience and blessing of all mankind. The great ascended masters have said that, if it be necessary for the protection of America, the jewel in the heart of God, then that light, as of 1,000 suns, will descend into the earth and consume all selfishness from the planet. But the people themselves must reach up and make the call for that light. We decree that the light of the mighty I Am presence and the great host of ascended masters shall bless and preserve the Constitution of these United States, and we clothe it and all in America with the limitless, shadowless light of that mighty I Am presence forever. America, we love you! America, we love you! America, we love you! America, we love you! America, we love you and hold you forever in that great light. America, we love and bless you. Your light shall blaze forth and cover the earth with its dazzling radiance and release its eternal perfection everywhere. Forever and forever, we love you, our blessed America. 26. SHAWLESS light. How, glorious, shadowless light of infinity! Thou mighty One Am presence. Thou light as of 1,000 SUSSLUNs. Descend into earth in such does.
The shadowless light. Thou glorious shadowless light of infinity, thou mighty I Am presence, thou light as of 1,000 suns, descend into earth in such dazzling splendor and power that all absorb thy beauty and perfection. Thou art all of all, thou infinite I Am presence of eternal blazing light. Thou art the full and only authority for all mankind throughout the earth forever. Reveal thyself everywhere. Release ascended master power without limit now and flood the earth with the mighty miracles of perfection in all activities.
Dazzling splendor and power that thou art all of all, thou infinite I Am presence of eternal blazing light. Thou art the full and only authority for all mankind throughout the earth forever. Reveal thyself everywhere. Release ascended master power. Without limit, now, and flood the earth with mighty miracles of perfection in all activities. Bring to pass the eternal victories of the ages. Let every human being on earth see and feel the almightiness of thy light, in such an onrush of thy glorious presence, that all become the fullness of thyself, thy joy, thy freedom, and thy love forever. Thou beloved shadowless light of the mighty I Am Presence. Thou art the great treasure house of the universe. Let thy limitless gifts of every good thing pour out upon the earth their mighty blessings and happiness for all mankind, that a great song of praise may burst forth from the heart of humanity in eternal gratitude, for thy splendor poured out to all. Let thy pure love flow forth from the heart of the secret love star and drench the earth with that liquid golden light that bathes all in its ecstasy and glory. Let the full ocean of thy supreme joy overwhelm this world and make of it a brilliant sun of everlasting, all-powerful, limitless light that casts no shadow and in which only the blazing glory of thy perfection can forever dwell. Thou adorable presence of all-pervading infinite light from out the great central sun, we call unto thee to bless us with the fullness of thyself, and hold us safe within thy mighty diamond heart forever. We love thee, we bless thee, we accept thee, we acknowledge thee, we feel thee, we praise thee, we worship thee, thou mighty I Am Presence, the eternal all-enfolding light. The light of God that never fails. I am that light, now and forever. Group leaders are not messengers, and the only messengers under this activity are the original 8 who were made messengers in Chicago in 1934. These all have letters from Saint Germain to that effect, and are subject to his direction through us, until he directs otherwise. This is a very serious thing. For the ones who claim to be messengers under this activity, without letters from Saint Germain through us, open themselves to serious consequences and vicious activities of the sinister force, for there are great laws under which these privileges are given, and, unless they are obeyed, the reactions are grave indeed. Accepted messengers and group leaders should never allow anyone to interrupt the classwork by either questions or explanations of anything they might experience from a personal standpoint. Group leaders are not to explain the inner bodies according to any other teaching. For Saint Germain's request is to at all times turn the attention of the students to the electronic body, as that is the only source of perfection, and there the attention needs to stay. He insists that the group leaders and students do not become enmeshed in the machinery of the human personality if they hope to have their protection, freedom, and victory in the light. 2:9. He asks that all classwork be conducted in a dignified way. That is a credit to the Ascended Masters, and not to do anything that calls forth ridicule from those observing, because of fanatical foolish activities of those who wish to attract attention to their own personal actions. No group leader should smoke or drink, for they cannot represent this activity if they do those things. This cannot be emphasized too strongly, for only those who are determined to purify themselves and serve the light can hope to represent the Ascended Master's way of life. A body of students is a sacred trust to the group leader from the Ascended Masters and ourselves. And the group leaders and all concerned should remember this at all times, so as not to let this transcendent gift of light and freedom from the Ascended Masters be dragged in the mire of human foolishness. We ask all to stand guard in this matter, and call the mighty I Am Presence into action at all times, to produce dignity, purity, love, poise, and perfection in all classes which are conducted under this radiation, that they may always be an activity which can be commended and worked through by the Ascended Masters. The Ascended Masters will not give their radiation through a group where the leader has impure personal habits. There can never be a compromise with such degrading things, and those who represent this activity should understand this thoroughly. Rave, blessed young America! Dare to be idealistic, far, far beyond the last generation. Stand for ideals so pure, so true, so strong, so worthwhile that everything in them brings you joy unspeakable and freedom eternal. Give the whole world an ideal worth all the suffering of 1,000,000 lives, if need be, but do not accept any suggestion from anywhere that will drag you down into the habits of discord and discontent of other human beings on earth. Be balanced, poised, genteel, pure, strong, dauntless, and divinely natural as the Ascended Masters are. For the whole world is looking to you, the younger generation, to bring into the physical experience of the earth the light, love, protection, ideas, and ideals required to solve the problems of the outer world and release mankind from the chaos of its own creation. These characteristics and ideals, as well as the power to bring them into physical expression, come only from one source, the mighty I Am Presence and the Ascended Masters. Therefore, hold fast to all they have brought to you in this knowledge of the 1 AM. Use it continually and prove to the whole world that you, the younger generation in America, are strong enough to hold the balance that is required to save the people of the earth from the conditions of destruction that are whirling in the outer world today. Come, the Ascended Masters are holding out their hands to you. For you have chosen your embodiments at this time because you are the ones who are strong enough to carry the light and hold the balance against the forces that would drag humanity down into destruction. We stand with, for, and by you with all the love, light, strength, power, and protection of the mighty I Am Presence and Ascended Masters at our command to help you hold the light and win the victory of the Ascended Masters everywhere for the blessing and protection of America and the world. Stand, yield not an inch to any outer thing that is less than the full perfection of the Ascended Masters, and from this instant, things shall take a turn, and the victory and light as of 1,000 suns shall come forth in America and the world, to bring joy and perfection everywhere forever. We bless you, beloved young America, everywhere, and hold you forever in the limitless, shadowless light of the mighty I Am Presence, the Ascended Masters, and the Legion of Light, that your victory may be complete and instantaneous now. Glorious Mount Shasta! Hasta, O Mount Shasta! What secrets do you hide? What dwells within that heart of yours? What light does there abide? Beneath your snowy peaks so bright, what blessings do you hold? What knowledge do you guard so well from those who seek too bold? I think I hear you speak to me from your pure heights above. I feel and hear your answer now. There's just one way, through love. To him who knows that presence well and lives it too beside, my secrets are an open book. From him I've naught to hide. Learn well that golden key of life. It opens every lock. With it you may fling wide my door, for love ne'er needs to knock. O sons of earth, who seek more light, learn first love's great command. Pour out its healing golden streams, and within my heart you'll stand. I am Reading Rooms of the St. Germain Teaching. Los Angeles, California, 7th and Olive Streets, Transamerica Building, room 926. Street, at the Street, San Diego, California, 6th and Broadway, Bank of America Building, room 314. home of the voice of the I Am 2600, South Hoover Street, Los Angeles, California. Sizes below can be purchased at the Sindelar Studios. 2600 South Hoover Street, Los Angeles, California,